Hello, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone. Welcome back to the Design with AI series. And hello, is everyone awake? Hey, hi, Swati. I can see a lot of emojis, but not a lot of people in the chat. That's a little weird. Yeah, I can see them now. Hey, hi, Jess. Hi, Lala. Hello, hello. Someone is saying they're not yet awake. Okay, a little early morning in the US. So yeah, I can definitely understand. Maybe quickly grab a cup of water before we start in. Okay, yeah. So before we formally start in today's session, I just wanted to say a big thanks to all of you who reached out to me and the other team members, to our support team, etc., showing out constructive feedback for the last session, how we can do it better or what went wrong. There are technical difficulties everywhere. I do agree with that. And that is not an excuse from my side. But yeah, thanks a lot for reaching out, for sharing the constructive feedback. Some of them were a little harsh, but yeah, I would say still we take up the positive side from them. And to give you a very honest take of what happened day before yesterday. So, and yeah, before we start in, I might look in a little odd today because I've kind of slept only 4 hours in the last 2 days. First of all, working out with the technical team on what happened wrong from Airmeet side and from the vendor side, etc. So we basically realized that Airmeet uses Chromium and Agora, one of the major video platforms out there that all the big IT and tech companies use, and they went under a global outage wherein their servers were under heavy load. And coincidentally, our session was during that time, and we shared the same server, and that is what happened. But this was not because of us only. We were hardly 500 people. We have hosted 7,000 plus live people in several sessions. So yeah, not because of our sheer strength, but because of different reasons. And because of this very same reason, you're going to see a different format that we are going to go into today. And thanks a lot, Nick, Holly, and Paula, for redoing the entire structure, the entire session plan for today. And you would see that they have literally created the entire walkthrough of the session even before the session happens so that we can avoid any unforeseen glitches for today. So yeah, thanks a lot again, everyone, and a big thanks to Nick, Holly, and Paula again. So yeah, so let's get started with today's session. So I would like to pass on to them to first of all take us through what we went through in the last class, and then we formally start with today's class, wherein we are going to see different AI tools, how we can use them to create powerful websites, powerful portfolios, and then we'll be ending up with a case study assignment for all of you.
All right. Hi, everybody. Welcome back. Here we go. And we're really excited to dive into some specific tools today. Last time we were together, we were using some general AI platforms to help inform us on how to leverage our human imagination as we approach a way to collaborate with artificial intelligence to take us to the next level in our designs, to really bring things that potentially would be impossible into being possible. And so we first started by examining a consultation that we imagined with the help of ChatGPT-4 with Debbie Millman, the designer, and her client, Nicholas Copernicus, and his idea for a nightclub based on the Greek mythological place of Elysium. And then we used Dolly 2 to commemorate that with an image, and we looked at some specific design elements that could be incorporated into that nightclub design. But we really were taking a step back to think about what Don Norman was telling us about how artificial intelligence really is a collaborator, and it's the human creativity that matters. And so we thought about, how do we get to that state of mind? How do we have state of mind by design as we approach our time using these tools and platforms with the support of artificial intelligence. So we took some time to think about taking a creative pause. We looked at the creative process and how essential incubation time is for that process and how often it's ignored, overlooked, or even we'd sometimes feel guilty about taking some time to let things just percolate inside. So we intentionally set ourselves up for a creative state of mind. We had a thought cloud based on the Elysium nightclub design. We talked about how to pause for purposeful daydreaming. We took a little ride in a spaceship in our imagination to help us transition from our maybe creativity, anxiety, or blocks that we might have inward into our diffuse thought. And then we came out of that with some fresh ideas. We prototype those quickly using those basic platforms. And now today we're ready to dive into some more specific tools to help support you in creating portfolios that delight, inspire, and capture the imagination of others. All right, so with that, I'm going to turn it on over to Nick or to Utkarsh. We have, as he said, already gone through this with a video so that we can make sure we are efficient and we are honoring your time.
Yes, and just a heads up before we start in, there would be little buffers in between. The total buffer time is roughly 4 minutes 31 seconds. So even before you say in the chat, I'm letting you know that exactly 4 minutes 31 seconds of buffer time is going to be here. Okay. Nick, any words before we start in, or should we start with the video there?
No, just hope you guys have fun, enjoy it. A lot of good stuff in there.
Okay, thank you. So let's get started with today's session.
Okay, hey everybody. So let's get started with some of these tools we're going to deep dive into today. As we've already discussed, we're going to be looking at creating a portfolio for you. So we wanted to do that live, and we're going to take an opportunity with the portfolio creation to also look at web design. And we're going to go ahead and fill that portfolio with some other design objects that we have from our Elysium nightclub. So we have a range of physical products as well as digital software, and we're going to also look at some content creation possibilities as well. So let's go ahead and get started with our web design and take a look at how we can start making a portfolio for ourselves. I know there are a lot of portfolio sites out there already where you can aggregate other people's portfolios. I think it's a smart idea to have yourself somewhere out there as well, but there's never going to be a replacement for having your own website where you can host your work exactly the way you want it and show off your design skills in that manner. For those of you who have some HTML, CSS skills, you may be thinking, well, you know, I really would prefer to design my own. And I'd ask you to maybe take a pause and think again about the opportunities we have to use AI here, because they've really come a long way. And some of these website builders that first start out as very generic, specifically for small businesses, they've really evolved into a wide variety of tools and possibilities. And with AI, we've seen a lot of smaller sites pop up that cater specifically to the development of a website through text prompt. And those are kind of fall into two categories. One is it functions, but it limits you because all it really does is work as a website, and then you have to go out and get a domain and all sorts of other marketing things that come along with that, or it's just vaporware. There's a lot of that going on right now. AI is super hot, so everybody's tagging it on the end of everything, so there's a lot of confusion, and I've sorted through all that for you, and I'm happy to tell you guys that even though it's been around a while, the site we're going to look at today, Wix, is actually still the best player in the game. And there's a couple reasons why. First of all, it's going to be free. I know a couple times last session we were asking, you know, is this free? Is that free? So this one's going to be free for you. Obviously, you're going to want to upgrade at some point, but just to get started, it's free and very powerful. The next thing is it's got great AI building features. I know that there are a lot of other new sites out there that are promising AI with a snap, and I can promise you this does just as well, if not better. And we're going to see that in a second. Last thing is it's mobile optimized, and I think most of us know that a lot of the traffic that gets picked up is coming down through mobile. So if you're looking to impress somebody, oftentimes that first impression comes through on a mobile device. So we want to be quick, we want to be responsive, and we want to have design that's aligned and not slightly misaligned because it was originally designed for web. So Wix is going to do all of that for you. Plus, right now we're going to design a brand new website for your design portfolio. So let's go ahead and get started with that. So here's their free website builder. What kind of website are you creating? Well, there we are, portfolio, right off the top. Excellent. Okay, we're going to just leave portfolio. Just leave it alone. No extras here. What would you like to call your website? So normally when you're designing a portfolio, kind of name it after yourself, or if you have a brand name of your own, if you're working independently, you might put that there. We're going to put the name of our designer, Desi N. Air. That's our designer for the day. So this will be the name for our website. And we're waiting. There we go. Okay, what do you want to add to your website? So we want to make sure we put a portfolio in there. For now, we're going to skip the Instagram feed. Actually, I'm so sorry. I skipped a big portion of this. Really wanted to go back before we even began building this and talk about how we can use GPT to assist us in coming up with all of the things we want to put in our portfolio. So let's just jump back over there real quick. We can leave this here and we'll check this out. So I asked GPT before we got started, I said, I'm building a design portfolio. What are some important things to include? And it went ahead and listed all these out in just a few seconds. So we can quickly take a look here. Most of this I know you're going to know already, but it's very helpful to have this written out right in front of you in case we forget anything. So cover, intro page, obviously, personal statement, obviously, contact information, obviously, high quality images, yes, case studies, okay, that's interesting, diverse projects, of course, project descriptions, okay, we'll get into that, take a look at those, testimonials, good reminder, yeah, if you have those, make sure we're going to get those in there. Resume, CV, maybe. Skills and tools, maybe. Call to action, this one right here, very powerful, and this is what most people are missing on their portfolio. They're putting up pictures and then they're saying nothing after that. Whenever we put something out there, we have to make sure that we have a clear, consistent call to action. It's obvious what we want our visitors to do, whether that's to contact you for future work, to head to another site to see different types of work that you do, whatever it may be that you really want people to do. This call to action is the entire reason that your site exists. So we want to make sure we have that up front and available. Regular updates, well, yeah, okay, we want to do that. Mobile optimization, talked about that. Wix does that for us, which is great. Navigation, yes, of course. Personal branding, okay, yeah, obviously we'll do that. Blog, Awards and recognitions, sure, if you've got them, let's put them up there. Personal projects, I don't know if I would recommend that one unless you really got something to show off. Links to published works, definitely. And an easy to use contact form. Yeah, we're definitely going to want to work on that as well. Easy to use. That goes back to our call to action. So you can see GPT did a good job of summarizing what most of us already know. It's out there. But it did a nice little list for us here, and we can refer back to it as we're building our site. So let's go ahead and create that new site. We're in the middle of that. So we've got our portfolio we're going to do. Chat with visitors. We could do that. That's very popular. We're going to skip it for now because it's just a little bit more complicated. Forms, info, subscriber, payments. We could do that one as well. Let's just leave the portfolio on for now, and we'll see if we can add some stuff later. I want you guys to see the design power here. Okay, start designing your site. Begin with a template. Boo, we don't want that. How about get a custom build site? Yes, that's what I'm talking about. Okay, so now we get to see the AI magic at work here. All right, enter your email address. We'll skip that. If you guys got a logo, it goes right here, and social links right there, okay? We can fill this in later as well, so we're just gonna skip that for now, since we don't actually have any of this. And now we can begin choosing from some different looks. So, how do we feel today? I wish that we could take a poll, but unfortunately we're just gonna have to take a guess that you guys are feeling spark. I don't know. Yeah, we'll go with Spark. Okay, and then it's just going to give us some options. Okay, so here we have a few different options and layouts that's already prepared for us, and it's going to include text as well. Ones we want. Yep, we definitely want an about page. Remember, our GPT told us to put a bio in there, so that will go in there. And we want a contact page. Perfect. Okay. All right. So here we are. So we've got our site all set up, ready to go. It's loading, and boom. Okay, so we've got a hero image here with our name, and then it just says My Work Showcase, which will probably change to a button or some kind of hero image. It's trying to help you understand all the different tools over here. There's a ton. We don't really need to worry about that right now. Just want to give you an overview of what it does for you. So this has made it a main page for us here. And there's the About page. And I have no idea why that's so small. Maybe if we preview it, there we go, much bigger. And it automatically fills in some standard copy for you, okay? It talks vaguely, but it's definitely something that you can work off of if you're struggling to come up with ideas for what to fill in here. Of course, you can always take this and then put that back into ChatGPT and say, expand on this for me, please, or add some personal details and say, weave these two together. And you can take what they've created here and leapfrog onto GPT and then back over here again, where we can quickly change the text if we want to, and just add or copy right in here whenever we're ready. Okay, so now we've got ourselves a home page, a contact page, and we can fill all this information out. I'm sorry, this is for them to fill out right here. We'll change this up for you later. For our designer, we would put that in there. Now what we're not seeing here is we're not seeing the portfolio, which unfortunately, for one reason or another, Wix decides that it wants to put somewhere else. So I'm going to show you guys where that's at. Okay, portfolio. So what we can do here is on the side, this is all about our website here, all these lots of different tools for marketing and things like that. You can check that out later. I highly recommend it. Remember, this is totally free to use, so if you're not using something like this already, I definitely recommend getting into it. But let's say that we have a new project because we're going to create some stuff. So let's add a project, and our objective today is to do a couple things for Elysium. So we're going to take a look at Elysium's give me a second here, typing and speaking is hard for me. We're going to take a look at Elysium's interior, and we're going to choose some products to design from inside the nightclub itself. This is a quick description where we'd fill that in. It's going to automatically add it to your portfolio in a beautiful setting, so you don't have to worry about the design of that as well. And then it's going to want to know what the type of project was, when you did it, where you did it, all sorts of things like that. And we can fill that in later. And the last thing you want to do is to upload the media. And we haven't generated that yet, so we can't do that yet, but we'll come back to that. All right, cool. Project is in. So it's empty now, as you can see, but what we can do is we can say show selected, and we can add it to our site. In just a second, it should be there. Here we go. Okay. Configuring. Shouldn't be too hard since we have no items in there. And now you can see in the navigation bar we have home, about, contact, and portfolio. And if you want to navigate over there, home, about, contact, and portfolio. So, my portfolio, welcome to my portfolio. We can obviously change this text if we want, but it's just standard filler for now that isn't lorem ipsum, so we're already a step ahead of the curve here. These are the projects that were in there previously, and they're just sort of filler space, and just so you can see what it looked like when you work on other projects. So the one on the left is the one we'll be building today, and the ones to the right and below you can imagine are some previous projects that you got in your portfolio that you'll upload at some point in the time. In the future. Okay, so let's talk about where we're going to get our content for this. I did mention that we were going to look at designing some products for the Elysium nightclub. So let's jump over to basically my favorite tool right now, which is called NightCafe. NightCafe is fantastic because it's an aggregator of all of the different generative AI models out there. So you got Stable Diffusion, you've got DALL-E, you have Midjourney, you have pretty much everything. The new one they've got here, they're kind of showing off as SDXL, and we're going to use that one today because it's new and they gave me some free credits. Speaking of free credits, let's jump over and take a look at how that works, because I know you guys are wondering, is it free? It is indeed free-ish. You know, obviously you got some limits to it, but every single day they gave you new credits, as they call it, and each picture that you generate takes a certain number of credits. So the larger the image, or more complicated the image, the more credits, and we'll take a look at that in a minute. But basically, every single day they give you 5 free ones, so you can generate at least an image a day if you want to, and then you can pay for more credits if you want to do more of these. But I've found so far that you can usually get away with just the free stuff. So I've got 19 credits because I don't use it every single day, and on top of that, the new SDXL is here, and they're offering a couple of free creations with that. So we're going to try that out. So the first thing that you'll see over here is the whole setup. The models, these are all the models that they have listed. Stable Diffusion, DALL-E, and then they have their own that they have kind of deprecated over here. And so SDXL is their brand new one, so we'll be testing that one out today. But each one is a slightly different. It may give better results or worse results depending on the effect that you're going for. So I definitely recommend you try them all out. But on top of these different models which you can try, NightCafe is great because they have different styles as well. And what this will do is it actually appends the keywords that you're looking for desperately. You're Googling around and saying, what keywords do I use? Which artist names, things like that. So it will take this image for you and say, okay, you click this button and we will append all of the keywords that have already been found to successfully create images that look like this. So if you want a hyper-real image like the one you see here, NightCafe is already tagged all of the keywords that they found to reliably reproduce hyper-real type images. And so we're going to try that out. I've actually done a couple already, so I'm going to show you in the text prompt what I put in, and then I'll show you what came out of it, and then we'll do some live right now and see what happens. So the first one I did was for the lounge portion of the nightclub. If you remember, there were 3 different realms in our nightclub that Copernicus had imagined, and so I put in something for the lounge, and all I said was a space-themed lounge, and I chose the vibrant and SDXL settings, and then I hit the create button, and it produced for me this image right here that you see. We'll take a look at this for just a second. So this was its vision, and I liked it. I thought it was pretty close to what I had in my head. And it's not, obviously, if you stare at it very closely, you can see, like, what is this weird swooping thing? It doesn't quite make sense. The longer you stare at it, you can start to see the pieces that are falling apart. So it's not going to create a final version for you in most cases. But what it does do is quickly align everyone on your team around a singular vision, and it brings to light some things within the design process that maybe you've missed out on, like, you know, who will be designing the lighting, who will be designing all of the furniture, who will be designing the menus, things like that. And so you can quickly get a very concrete sense of what the space is going to look like, and to begin to work through the design thinking process on a variety of products. So I've already got a couple of ideas for us on what we might design. The first thing, though, that we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and download this image. It's over here now, and we're going to dump it into our portfolio. So let's go back here, jump out of our website. Oh, actually, I didn't need to do that at all, did I? Okay, we're going to come back to our products. And I want to upload media. Okay, this is my latest download, and we'll put that in there. Okay. Now, title, I can change all that other stuff later if you want me to, but you can see how easy it is to quickly upload the image that I just created in seconds. Okay, and so now if we go back to our editor, I've got too many of these open. We should see any second now the updated version where that picture will be in our portfolio on our website. This isn't live yet, so don't worry if you've made a mistake, if you put something in there you didn't want to. It's unpublished as of yet, so we'll publish that at the end, so you'll be able to see that. All right, so let's jump over to our portfolio. And, whoops, did not update. Uh-oh. What happened there? Oops, I didn't save it. That's what happened there. Okay, all saved. Let's refresh. Waiting. Okay. Portfolio. And there we are. Okay, so it begins. We can see that we're beginning to build this portfolio here. And when you go to the preview version where you can click on things as if it's the live action version, you'll see Elysium products. Hover over lightly, and then it will automatically take you to a full page dedicated to all the images that we will eventually put into this project. And if we had put a description, it would appear here as well. So we're already quickly building our portfolio. So let's jump back to NightCafe and see what else we can make. Okay, so this will be a first shot at this. No idea what will happen, but we will find out together. The first thing I thought we might want to take a look at is some of the furniture in here. So I thought maybe we could say something like elegant and futuristic furniture for a space-themed nightclub. Okay, so we've got our model set, we've got our style set, and here's our text prompt. We don't know exactly how this will work, but we will find out in a second. All right, and we're creating. It doesn't really take very long for it to do this either. It should be out in just a couple seconds, and we'll see what happens. Interesting, they chose stools. Okay. So it gave us a couple of stools. I'm honestly not too impressed with this one. Let's try, just give us, we got a little time here. Let's try space themed lounge. And let's be more specific about the furniture. Let's say we want couches. And we'll try again. Still a very interesting picture. Sparks a lot of ideas for me. We'll just see if we can get a little bit closer. It's also possible that our style, we might choose a different style. Perhaps we should have gone with the hyper realistic on this one. So we'll see what comes out. Wow, okay. Now that's curious. Not as elegant as I thought it would be, but still interesting. Did they put a logo at the bottom there? Very interesting. Okay, but I love the wall in the background, and if we had some more time, we could tinker with this, get the style exactly right, but unfortunately, we've got to keep it moving, so we're going to take it for now, and we're going to add it right on in to our portfolio. So here's our next file. There's our furniture. Doesn't really match our lounge style from the original picture, but like I said, we could get a closer match if we had a little more time. This is mostly just to show you how easy it is to build the portfolio. All right, so next, let's look at what it might be like to design some uniforms. So obviously, people working in the clubs, they've got to be dressed a certain way, so I thought maybe we'd take a look at the clothing style. So let's replace couches with uniforms for a space-themed lounge, and we'll see what we get. Let's say we'll try something different this time, because we've already seen what that other one looks like. I'm interested in the, well, let's see. I don't really like those. Steampunk, heavenly, no. Let's try a artistic portrait and see what we get. Okay, here we go. Any second now. There it is. Okay, they put him in full spacesuits. Interesting. But the clarity is amazing. The detail is pretty great. I think it's definitely a sketch worth taking. I think we can keep this one. The orange is interesting. I never seem to get the elegant there, at least not for me, but I still like it. Very futuristic, so I'm going to move forward with this one, and we're going to edit and add. Okay. Upload it. Boom, done. Okay. Save and close. Great. All right, let's do one more, try out a different style, and we will see what we get for our last product design. I thought also it might be interesting to see some cocktails for our lounge. See what kind of glasses, interesting, cool containers we might come up with. See if we can come up with anything space themed. So I thought, let's see what we get if we ask for a cocktail. So let's type it out here. A space, let's keep it real simple. Themed cocktail glass. I misspelled that. There we go. Okay. And I'm interested in something hyper real. This is a very close-up picture of an object, so I want to see what the hyper real looks like. And let's go ahead and create. Very interesting. I love it. Gives me a lot of ideas about what kind of liqueurs and alcohols we could use for this glass. The hyperrealism is fantastic, and I think it makes a great addition to our portfolio. So let's go ahead and dump that in there. And we will add once again the latest. All right, coming along nicely there. Okay. So that is our products. Save and close. And now what I thought we might do is take a look at some digital software and UI design type opportunities we have for using the newest AI tools. This one's going to use a slightly different tool, which I'll get into in a second. But first, let's create a new project for what we're building here. We'll call it Elysium UI/UX. Okay. And we'll skip all that for now, and we'll just leave it. Okay. So there we see it's blank, and if we check the website, it'll have appeared there as well, and we're just going to go ahead and dump some pictures in there before we take a look at it on the actual site. So let's jump over to our design tool for UX and UI. This is called Figma. Figma is also free. Wonderful. I'm doing my best to use all of the free tools for you guys. And it's a design tool many of you have probably used already. And what we want to do is show you how to use AI to the best of its ability to create for you. So if you see on the left side of the screen here, I've actually already done a part of this. I put in the prompt from this plugin here. So if you go to plugins, you'll have to go to find more plugins when you join, and you're going to type in wireframe designer. Wireframe designer. You can see I put a bunch of other ones in because I couldn't find the exact one I wanted at first. So be careful to put in wireframe designer, and once you have that one, pull it up. And I simply typed in an app for a space-themed nightclub. That's all I put in this, and it gave me what you see on the left here. So I thought what we might try to do now is to create the remaining pages for our app. So I'm just going to go ahead and continue on by asking it to create the events and the chat section for our app, and see if we can get this whole wireframe up, and we'll put each one of these images into our portfolio. So let me type it out here. A chat page for a space-themed app. Let's see what we get. Now you notice here it says 9 designs left. So this part is not free, unfortunately. There's a subscription for that. But let's see what we got here. Still drafting. And you can see, wow, it's going to do the whole, Jesus. Okay, it did the whole thing here. So I wish I could zoom for you guys. Give me a second to see if I can zoom in. Okay, so it went ahead and not only did it build a chat feature, global chat, friends, Spaceships, I'm really not sure what that could be, but I'm excited. Maybe that's something brand new we can make up for the first time. News, okay. So we have news, sightings. I'm guessing that's probably going to be something for the club itself. We can put in there. And then we have our um, reviews, a little section for reviews in here. Alien sightings, meteor showers, space missions. Perhaps those are branded type events that we could put in later, or perhaps we don't like it. Obviously, we can delete anything we want in here. If you notice, all of this is editable. All of this is removable. Whatever we don't like, whatever we don't want, we can just get rid of. All of it is rearrangeable. So this isn't a static image in any way, shape, or form. Every single one of these icons here is completely interactable and movable. Everything you see there. So once you've got this, you can go ahead and just play with it all you want. And then, maybe kind of like a little Instagram feed, they went ahead and put everybody's images as well as the beauty of the universe never ceases to amaze me. Heart eye emoji. Unbelievable level of detail. And just look at the organization of all of this. I mean, this is, again, each one of these is an editable feature. So you can do anything you want with this. But at the very least, it gives you a really great basis to start from. And again, bring everyone together in alignment around what it is we actually want to see on the chat side of this. So let's do this one more time, and then we're going to copy these images over and put them in our portfolio because we just designed them. So one more time, let's do our wireframe designer, and we'll say we want an events page for a space-themed, did I say lounge or nightclub last time? I'm going to say nightclub this time. Okay, let's see what we get. Uh-oh, it put it on top of it. It's okay, I can just move it. We'll just wait for it to finish. Okay, so let's see what we got here. Okay, so we have club name, right? We can edit that. Actually, let's go ahead and do it now. We'll just change that to our club name. Beautiful. And upcoming events with an image and the event date exactly like we'd want. And then, of course, some reviews beneath it. Everything you'd want to know about it, whether it's a live DJ, special event. And then here we have the posts that we saw from the chat section in a smaller version, followed by, of course, and what's most important, buy tickets and RSVP. Okay, so let's take this page here and shift it over so it's not on top of the other one. And we'll slide that down. Okay, so here we have at least 3 wireframes for an app for our club. So we've got some uniforms, we've got some furniture, we've got some cocktails. Now we've got our whole app here that we've wireframed up, so let's get this on our portfolio as well. Give me just 1 second to export these. Okay, I don't think we need to go too much further. Just get just that. Oops. Why'd you do that? Okay, skip it for now. Alright, so what we'll do here is we'll take our first frame. I'm just going to copy these real quick rather than exporting them because that's a bit easier for me. I have exported them. It's very easy to export them. It's just I want to keep the flow going for you guys. So I'm just going to do it nice and quick like this. Okay, just so we get the idea of how it will work. Okay, last one. Here we go. And RSVP by tickets. Okay. Great. All right. So now we can hop back over to our UX UI project and upload our images. 1, 2, and 3. Boom, done. Okay, those look like pretty terrible resolution. No, maybe they're cleaning up a little bit. Okay. There we go, good. All right, so then we can save and close. and we've got that in there. So let's jump back over to our actual website, and we will see that it's in there so you guys can see we've got both. And let's just come back to our portfolio, and boom, there we are. Okay, so here we have the club itself with the products inside it, and then the UX and the UI. Okay, so that front picture there, probably we can improve that. We definitely want to do that, but this is pretty good looking so far for our products portfolio. I think we're doing great work here, considering we just did this in 5 minutes time. So let's head back to the portfolio and let's get a look at that UX UI. Oof, yeah, that's, oh, what happened there? Uh-oh, looks like it's glitching out. Okay, I'm not sure what's happening there, but it doesn't want to open it. I'm sure it will later. Sometimes it just runs into little bugs, but we'll check it out later. Let's move on to our final design category. We're going to look at some content for marketing. And then for this one, we're going to use two tools. We're going to come back to NightCafe for a little bit of content, and then we're actually going to use Canva. Canva's got a brand new feature. Unfortunately, this one is not free. It is part of their premium service or whatever, so it's like a monthly subscription. I don't remember the cost off the top of my head, but it's not going to be so much. Hopefully your company has it, or you might be willing to spring for it, because I think this particular tool is pretty great. So let me show you what we're up to here. I started out with an idea that we might want to advertise the club. We've got the club, we've got all of the drinks and the uniforms and all the furniture. We've got the app ready to go, so maybe it's time to get the word out that we've got events happening. So I thought, let's start with an Instagram ad. And I came over here and I chose the vibrant one, and then here I just typed in an ad for a space themed nightclub, and it didn't really give me an ad, but what it did create I thought was pretty interesting. So this was the image it generated, which I thought was very striking, very beautiful, and I thought, yeah, I could probably get a couple eyeballs on this on Instagram. So then I jump over to Canva, where I use their brand new tool. Can't remember what they call it exactly, but if you just Google Canva AI design, it will come right up to the top for you there. And then it just wants you to drop the file in. So I went ahead and I dropped this file in already, so you guys could see immediately what it does. Oh, there it is. Try Magic Design. Yeah. So Magic Design will automatically put that image in a bunch of different designs for you. So you don't have to even worry about laying this out. Not only will it do this for you in a bunch of different designs, but we can choose from styles, different styles, and they have whole brands, including all of the different colors and all of the different fonts that you can use. So let's change this up and go with something modern and see what we get here. Okay, I don't like that one too much. This is interesting. That's kind of cool. Each one of these is not in the exact format. That's one of the things I don't know if we can do, is filter it for size, so I know we want to post on Instagram, so I don't think we can do that yet, but we can try something like Elysium karaoke night, and then we'll say we'll add that to the results, and there we have it popping up in a couple of places. Okay, so here we have a decently square one, and we can customize this template, and boom, we're off and running. So we have some text already, it's already lined up. This one's pretty basic. Actually, I don't know that I think this one really helps us with our case too much, but we got a couple more to go, so we can just download this one for now, and maybe not our best work, but still pretty eye-catching. Let's just say August, what's tomorrow? 12th. Okay, so that's the date of our karaoke night, and that'll go up on Instagram. Okay, so we will download that, and PNG, and let's down it. Okay. All right, so then we jump back over to our project here. Time for a new project, and this will be marketing content. And once again, we can skip these for now, and we'll upload. Okay. So there's our first piece of marketing content. Okay, it's going to upload in the background. Perfect. Okay, hopefully that shows up when it's ready. Let's jump back over to Canva, and we will move on to our next one here. So I also thought we might want to make an invitation. So let's come up with something that we can put in to, so instead of an ad, how about we say an invitation? And we'll assume this is like an actual physical invitation that we're going to give somebody. We're going to stick with the same one here, and then let's choose something different, something way out, totally different. Since we're just testing this out anyway, probably wouldn't do an invitation in this style, but you know, let's see what kind of accuracy we can get out of this. So let's go with anime. We'll do an anime invitation for a space-themed nightclub and see what we get. Okay, while we're waiting on this one, let's check back here with our project, make sure this actually uploaded. That's what I was afraid of. Okay, there we go. Perfect. Save and close. Okay, now we're up here. We've got our first bit of marketing content. Let's jump back over here. That's an interesting space-themed anime type invitation. Obviously, this will need some text and some context, but you know, an eye-catching image nonetheless. And let's see if we can use our Canva magic design to work with that. Okay, so here we go. Got our next file, and we'll see what we get. Ooh, forgot to change our headline. Okay. Let's see, what do we like here? Very interesting. Look at this one. It actually put a question on here about the name of the first man to set foot on the moon. Cool. I don't know that that necessarily fits our goal of making an invitation, but I found it interesting that it added this entire question, space themed, all by itself. So, you know, A for effort on this thing. So we'll stick with that. And we'll say something like, you're invited, maybe. We'll slide it down here. Oh. Don't like that. Let's do this. Get out of here. Sorry about that, guys. I'm kind of making it up here. There we go. Okay. And okay. So what we've got here, you know, probably wouldn't really do this in real life, but it's certainly an interesting combination. We've got a little quiz on top of an invitation for a anime background of a nightclub. So definitely sparking some ideas here for sure. Oh, publish straight to Instagram. No thanks, not now. We'll worry about that later. So let's download this and we'll get it up on our portfolio. Okay, so this is going to go to the portfolio, and while we wait for that, let's do our final one here. We're going to do a poster that we'll actually physically put somewhere. So let's see what we can get in terms of a poster. Last one, say a poster. Poster for a space-themed nightclub. And remember, I'm just doing the most basic of prompts. Okay, it is appending the style. It's saying things like vibrant, and if we actually click advanced mode here, it will show us what happens when I select artistic portrait. So I'm sure you guys want to take a look at this here. A poster for a space-themed nightclub is what I put in, and then when I click artistic portrait, it says head and shoulders portrait, 8K resolution, concept art, portrait by Greg Rutkowski, and so on and so forth. So you can actually edit all of this in here if you want. You can click multiples of these. Eventually it says too many words. You can't have that many. But you can, you know, pick and choose from a couple of these different ones if you even really wanted to. So, you know, I'm just starting with an extremely basic prompt, a poster for a space-themed nightclub. There's a lot more detail we could put in terms like angle, designs, shapes, all sorts of things like that, but I'm keeping it just real simple for our demo right now. Okay, so we're going to stick with a poster for a space-themed nightclub, and let's go ahead and choose this color painting one here. See what this gets us. And we will... they did also offer you the opportunity to choose a start image. I have used that a fair amount. I haven't found it too useful. Either it's not different enough to be valuable, or it's too different to look exactly like you want. So if you choose an image, like let's say I want a, you know, spaceman with headphones on for my DJ, it hasn't yet quite gotten there yet. But if you just ask for a spaceman with headphones, a lot of times you'll get exactly that. So starting with the image I haven't found too helpful yet. But you can also change the runtime. This will increase the likelihood that your accuracy will increase as well. And you can change the aspect ratio. So since we're doing a poster, let's go with 3:4. And the overall prompt weight, sliding this over here to the far right, will ensure that everything you put in there comes out exactly as you've asked for it, even if it sacrifices some of the visual integrity of the image. And going far to the left means it will loosely take those words and then create something kind of like it. So I usually leave it around 50 to 80 depending on how accurate or how clear I need it to be, but a lot of times I leave it and let it, you know, come up with something on its own, like the spacesuits or that couch that we made. All right, so let's go ahead and see what we get. Okay, this is going to be our last one. And while we wait for this one, I'm going to jump back over here and we're going to add in our latest bit of marketing content. Upload. So this was our invitation. Hopefully that loads. There we go. Save and close. Okay. And then let's jump back over to NightCafe. Whoa, okay. So I love it. It's not very elegant, but I didn't ask for that this time around. So obviously we've got a different interpretation of space themed. But I think it's pretty cool, very interesting design. It's caught my eye. Obviously these words mean nothing, but we might be able to block that out on Canva if we really wanted to. We could take a deeper dive into that and just cover over with a block of color that matches the back here. We don't have time for that, unfortunately. We're almost out of time today, but we do have just enough time left to drop this in one more time, get this up on our our portfolio, and then take a look at everything we've done. Okay. Let's see where we're at here. And this is for a physical poster. And I'm still using karaoke night, so I'm just gonna skip that. Oh wow. So here they have a physical poster. That's very interesting. Okay. Album cover, that's pretty cool. Looks like they really haven't done too much with this one. I'm a little disappointed in the style choices that they've made here. I'm wishing maybe we could change that up. Let's clear that out and see the results. See what else they might give us. Maybe the image itself just really isn't a great fit for anything else. Oops. So we have invitations, phone wallpaper, and then we've got this poster here. So since we were going to do a poster anyways, let's stick with this one. People can see what it would look like if you made a poster. We don't need that. We'll put that there. Obviously that doesn't look great for now, but this is just quick and dirty so we can get something up. Okay, here we go. Head back over to our projects. This will be our last upload. And we're all set. Okay. So now we can head over to our website. Let's refresh. Give it a second here. Almost done. Okay. Let's preview our site here. So here we have, finally and completely, the name of our designer, a little bit of front page action. Obviously, we're going to update these to some of our portfolio pics, but it's pretty easy to do. And then we have our about, which we can use ChatGPT to update here if we really want to. Contact, which is great. And finally, and most importantly, the portfolio. Now these buttons can be changed around if you want that. So here we have our Elysium products, our Elysium UI UX, and some of our marketing content. Let's see if this pops up. There we are. Elysium, you're invited. And it's not showing the other one. Uh-oh. Okay, small glitch there, but it does go. I promise it normally works pretty well. It's not usually one of those sites that causes a lot of glitches, so I'm just missing that today. But otherwise, you can see it's ready to go live. And so then we push it live, and there it is. So we are here, we're live, we built a portfolio. We filled it with content. That took me about 50 minutes, and I just built 3 different projects for this nightclub. So you can see now how quickly and easily we can at the very least get some prototypes up going, if not some really great content for Instagram and some really cool visuals to help bring the team together. For functional day-to-day design, I think Figma's going to win just because you can really take this and move all of this around. And again, Night Cafe, if you're looking for quick images with a lot of different creativity, we came up with some great stuff here in just a short amount of time. Canva, I'm still, thinking you guys are probably using this for a fair amount of other stuff, so we're trying out for now their template, their magic design tool here, which is, it's okay. It's not my favorite, but I think it gives us a place to move forward from. And it's brand new, so hopefully it improves over time. Okay, and I think those are about all of the tools that we've got time for. I know we could have gone way deeper into that, and we could have used ChatGPT a lot more to ask questions, how to improve all of this stuff, but I hope you guys got a lot out of this. Thank you so much.
Thanks a lot, Fast Nick, and thanks a lot, Present Nick, for making up the demo. And yeah, here we are towards the end of the session. Anyone, if you have any doubts, please feel free to set them up in the Q&A box. We would only be able to take a few of them before we announce the case because we're already running a little late for today's session. Okay, seems like everyone got everything today. Yeah, no questions to ask. Thanks a lot again, Nick, Paula, and Holly for today's session and for being quite active in the chat, helping everyone with the queries in between. So let's get started with the case announcement then. So I'm just sharing my screen, and you'll be able to see the case assignment. Don't worry, we will also be sharing this in the chat and in the Notion Hub later so that you don't miss out anything. So basically, the assignment, the case for the series is very, very simple. You just are needed to create a website using a minimum of 3 AI tools. What if you want to create more? Yes, you can, but a minimum of 3 AI tools is what is needed to create a website. This website can be any website as per your own choice of theme, can be an e-commerce website, your own portfolio, mobile app, software, non-profit, social media, or literally anything, right? And the website needs to contain at least 3 relevant sections. For example, the hero section, that is the initial landing page, what products or services are being offered, features about you, about the team, about the organization. Can be there can be any other sections as well, but there should be minimum 3 sections that you come up with. Okay, and there will be bonus points for using up as many AI tools as possible or designing more than 3 sections. There are a little bit guidelines also that have been attached up here. The most important that I would like to share is do remember to add up your full name and the hashtag towards the end of the website. This will help us ensure that this is your own original creation and for this series only, right? And you're free, feel free to discuss with other participants to discuss the design ideas or discuss with your colleagues or anyone else. Uh, right? And yeah, and in case if you get stuck up somewhere, you can reach out to me on email or on Slack as well. I'm sharing the link to the case study here in the chat, as well as you will also be able to find up in the Notion doc. So in case if you don't see it up here on chat, you can find it up in the Notion hub as well. Okay, yeah, if there are any quick questions about the case study, feel free to ask them around. I will give you a minute to soak this in before we call it a day for today. Uh, will you share this form? Yeah, so I've already shared the case study. The submission process is easy. There's simple Google form wherein you just type in your name and email ID, the same email ID with which you registered, so that we can track that you have already registered or not. And the deadline submission is Monday, August 14th, 11:59 p.m. Pacific time. And the top submissions get featured on the demo day on Thursday, August of 17th. The result, so what happens after this is the all the submissions get uh, checked out, and the top 10 submissions would be reached out via email. Usually, the top five get to present their case study live on the demo day. So, you will be getting an email a day prior if you're shortlisted as top 10 or top five, and you'll be allotted a certain time interval in which you can present your case in front of everyone. We would have all three of the speakers, Paula, Nick, and Holly, who would be there to, like, let's say, see up your case studies, live critique them, as well as share recommendations, what could have been done better, what more AI tools could have been used, or what you could have done better. And yeah, the case study is to be done individually, not in groups. You can definitely discuss it out with others in terms of design or in terms of what you want to do, but ultimately the submissions are to be done individually. Yeah, and someone is asking it up on a personal chat. You are nowhere required to opt for a paid AI tool. You can do this case study entirely using free AI tools. Uh, no need to even like, let's say, go for a website builder. If you want to create it yourself even in a Figma file, that's perfectly fine. You want to use any other software like Framer, Webflow, you can do that. You can use any other software that we have covered that are in the Notion hub or that are not in the hub as well. Okay, so you can use any software, you can use any tools, and nowhere you're required to go for a subscription or a premium plan. You can entirely do this using free tools, free features out there. Okay, someone is asking about Webflow. So we actually did a course on Webflow wherein we taught how to use Webflow. This I'm sharing the link to the recordings for the classes for that in case if someone is interested to learn Webflow. This should give you good enough knowledge to actually create a website using Webflow using the free plan. There you go. Yeah, you can create up a second portfolio or a second website using free version of Wix as well. Okay, yeah, that's it. I am not seeing any more questions. Can you use AI tool on an existing site, have it count for the submission? uh yes, you can, but I would say, see, it should be very honest take from your side that at the end you're learning something out of the case, right? If you're able to learn different AI tools, because the end goal here is not to either spoon feed you or, like, let's say, take a stick around and make you learn things, but you should try learning things hands on. That's the main goal of the case study here, so that you get your hands dirty, you get to learn the AI tools, and that is what it is all about. That's the very reason why we have mandated at least three different AI tools, three different sections, so that you uh, get to go inside and learn yourself. Okay, so I see someone is still asking for the resource hub. So this was emailed to all of you in the onboarding email. I'm sharing it again here in the chat. This is the Notion resource hub. This is also mentioned in the case study here. On the second point, exclusive resources, session decks, and recordings here. All the recordings, decks, and different AI tools, summaries, etc., are already there in the Notion. You can anytime go there, have a look at it if you want to. Okay, yeah, that's all for today. Thanks again, everyone, for joining in today. I hope you had a great time today. Thanks again, Paula, Holly, and Nick. Any last words from you before we wind up today?
Thank you so much, everyone. We appreciate you coming back today for allowing us to try it again with this air meet. And we have enjoyed the chat with you today. Thank you. And we look forward to seeing you next Thursday.
Yeah, likewise. Thank you. Have a great weekend, everyone. See ya. Bye.
Bye bye.